Hi there. In today's video, I want to talk about what is new in Notebook 15. So, we got a couple new features put into Notebook 15 on top of some performance enhancements and bug fixes, things of that nature. But our first big new feature I want to show you is Labs. It's our lesson activity builder. And what it is, you'll find it in our toolbar up top. It is our little rocket ship. So when I click on that rocket ship, you'll notice that the lab dialog box pops up. To start, we only have two activities, but over time you're going to see more and more activities added into lab. To start, we have super sorter and flip out. And what super sorter is just a basic sorting activity that we can do to, you pick a couple categories and we sort words into them. We have flip out, which is done like flashcards. But as an example today, I'm going to do a super sort. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this activity. And you'll notice I can pick between either our jungle theme or our space theme. So I'm going to stick with our space theme. I'm going to go to Mars for our activity. And I'm going to go ahead and add this activity. And then from here, I have to pick my categories. So let's say this is a math lesson. And I'm going to do even and odd numbers. So even numbers. And our other category will be odd numbers. And then I have my category content. So from here, I can create a list. And all I'm going to do is tab in between each number I put up on the screen here. And you'll notice down here at the bottom is I can save my list. I can add from a list. So I'm going to save this list because you never know if I'm going to need odd and even numbers again. So I'm just going to call this even numbers. And I'm going to go ahead and save. Now later, if I want to, I can add from list, and you'll notice that I have in even numbers, I have a nouns list saved as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close that, and I got to come over here for odds and do the same thing. Okay. Then once I have my categories and the words and numbers in this case I'm going to hit next. Now you'll notice we've added some gamification options, things like timers, buzzers, dice, spinning wheels, hat pick. So I'm going to just put a couple of these in here just to show you what they do. So I'm going to do a spinning wheel. So when I turn that on, you'll notice that I can sort the categories. So maybe I want the activity to tell me, okay, am I looking for odd numbers first or even numbers? I can sort the items, so it tells me what item am I sorting. Numbers, maybe if I have my students numbered or a student list that I might have. But in this case, I'm going to leave as sorting items because I want it to tell me what number am I going to sort next. But I'm also going to put the hat sorter on too, the hat picker. And in this case, I'm going to do a student list. So this is the idea of just randomly picking a student to go up to the board to do the activity. So just like when I was putting content in, I can add from a list. So maybe if I had a class list already created, in this case I don't. So I'm just going to throw some names in here. And I'm going to say finish. And what this is going to do is going to generate my activity. So I have my even numbers, my odd numbers, and I have all my choices at the bottom. But what I want to do is I want to see what student is going to go up here first. So I'm going to pick my hat here, and it's going to tell me Mike's going up. So, okay. Now, what number is Mike going to sort? So I'm going to go to my spinning wheel, and Mike is going to sort the number 6. So Mike comes up to the board and takes the 6. In this case, it's an even number, and it disappears. So we continue to go through this. The hat will pick a name, the spinning wheel will pick a number. So I'm just going to go through and complete this activity. And you'll notice as I'm right, they disappear. But what happens if I'm wrong? So if I take the 2 and put it up to odd number, it shakes it back out. So we'll go through, complete the activity here. And when I'm done, the spaceships take off. And then from here, I can choose to either restart the activity or I can edit the activity. So that's lab. And like I said, over time, more and more activities are going to be added. Another new feature that we have added, which is pretty exciting, is up here in the add-ons tab at the top. So when I click on my add-ons tab, you'll notice that there's now a head here with a spoke out type graphic. And what this is concept mapping. So when I go ahead and click on the head here, you'll see I have a node for a concept map. So I'm going to move that into the center of the page, and I'm going to double click because I want to add some content inside the node. And let's say we're talking about Illinois. And then what I want to do is we're going to talk about things about Illinois. So in this case, I'm going to click the plus because I want to add another node. And same idea, I can double click. And in this case, I'm going to do Chicago. But let's say I want to do more than just type. I want to do stuff maybe I've written. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to type in, or I'm going to write in Lincoln. But I want this to be part of a node. So all I do is I circle it, and it now becomes a node. So, and now to connect it, I just draw a line. And now Lincoln is connected to Illinois. Now let's say I also want to do graphics. So in this case, I'm going to come up to my gallery, and I'm going to pick a graphic. So in this case, let's just say, I want to do peanuts because of baseball. So I put peanuts up there, same idea, I circle it, and it becomes one of the nodes. Oops. And then let's say I want to link those together. Okay. What happened there is I drew a line right on top of where I wanted to go. So we'll do that again. Okay, but let's say, oh, whoops, I didn't want the peanuts to go to Lincoln. Maybe I wanted the peanuts to go to Chicago because we're talking about Chicago baseball. So all I do is I take the eraser and erase that line, and I bring that connection back down again. So now Chicago is linked to peanuts. So that's our concept mapping. And the last new features, kind of new, kind of not new. There's some features that were part of the math tools before that were only available for PC. But now we want to take some of those features, bring them out for everybody, and make them for PC and Mac, and make them part of Notebook. And one of the big things here, so I'm going to come up here and grab a shape. I'm going to grab a square here, draw a square on the page. And what happens when I click on that square and I use my drop down, you'll notice we have some new options here. We have show vertices, interior angles, side links. But first I'm going to show you shape division because this is one of the cooler features here. I hit shape division. I say, how many equal shapes do I want that to be? I'm going to say 5. Hit OK. And now my square has been broken into fifths. So when you're talking and teaching stuff about fractions, the nice thing is too, once you break this into pieces and do shape division, you can actually say the object is separate. Okay? And you can do that to any regular shape. So the idea is I come up here, I can do this to a circle, divide the shape, and then we do halves. But one shape like we can't do here, let's do the rounded edge square. You'll notice I can't do the shape division. Okay, so it can't be done to every object, but most of them. But the other thing I want to show you here too is some of those other options that were there. So I'm going to go back to my square. And from here, I can show my vertices. So I can see where the corners are, and I can drag those out and do different things to them. I can also show my interior angles. So if we're talking about, angle measurement, and as I move these vertices, my angle measurements change. And then if I also want to do and show side lengths, same idea. As I move those around, the side lengths do change. So those are some of the new features in Notebook 15 coming out later this month. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.